The season will begin with Shane's vehicle breaking down and walkers start to surround him. Daryl will notice this and Rick will pull up with the RV to save him. Carl will run over to Shane and hug him, showing how much he still cares for him, and we will see that Lori has a discomfort look on her face. Shane will notice this and tell Carl to go back to his mom. Shane will ask Rick if he has any more moves left, and Rick will say that he has one. They head to the gang from season 1 that captured Glenn and find it abandoned, and they soon would learn that they all got wiped out. They quickly take out all the walkers. They search the rest of the building and confirm that everyone there got wiped out. They decide to stay there for the night and the next day. They leave Atlanta to go to Fort Wayne, and that's a deleted scene that I am adding into my version of season 2. The group gets stopped on the highway as the RV breaks down. Dale is keeping watch on the RV as Glenn tries to fix it up, as the rest of the group looks for supplies, and Shane ends up finding gallons of water. Shane ends up wasting it like an idiot. Dale sees a herd of walkers coming, and they all is able to hide as the walkers walk past. A walker ends up noticing Sophia and starts to chase her. And in my version, there'll be multiple walkers chasing Sophia. Just because it would make more sense why Rick couldn't kill them. Yes, it was early in the apocalypse, but it would just make more sense if there was more walkers chasing her. But anyways, Rick would follow Sophia. Carol is freaking out about her daughter. Rick continues to follow Sophia and try to save her from the walkers. As Sophia's running, Rick finds her and tells her that he can't use his gun, and they run away from the walkers. Rick will tell Sophia to hide while he deals with the walkers. Rick will end up drawing the walkers away from Sophia. As Rick is gone, Sophia will climb out. Rick, that is hiding from the walker, plans on killing it with a rock and will end up being able to kill the walker. But since there's multiple of them, there'll be like multiple instances of him drawing a few away before killing them. Rick would return back and they would go searching for him, but finds nothing. And then a bit later on, Rick, Shane, and Carl would go try find her, find a deer, and Carl would be shot. Episode 2 begins with a flashback of Lori and Carl learning about Rick. Otis runs over, apologetic, but Shane will end up punching him in the face and Rick will pull out his gun pointing at him, but he will say that Carl wouldn't be able to get help if he's dead. They quickly run to Herschel's farm as Otis tells them where to go, and that scene will play out pretty much the same it does in the actual show. Lori is worried because they haven't been back yet. So this group decide to go look for him and Sophia, and Andrea is attacked by a walker. Maggie ends up saving them. The episode starts out with Shane running away from the walkers. It would then cut back to Shane and Otis as they see that the place is overrun. Dale hears a noise and goes to investigate. Daryl is looking for Sophia, but ends up falling and getting impaled by his own arrow and then hallucinates Merle. Rick ends up sending Glenn and Maggie on a supply run. Lori pulls Glenn aside to ask if he can get her birth control pills. Glenn and Maggie go to the pharmacy, and that scene will play out pretty much the same as it did in the actual show. But in my version, the second trip will be combined into this one to where Maggie will get attacked by the walker here. Everything will play out the same with Shane and Otis getting into the place, getting the supplies before Shane will shoot Otis in the leg before grabbing the supplies and leaving Otis to die. The episode would end with Shane returning to Herschel's farm with the supplies and Otis being gone. The next episode begins with Otis' funeral. We cut to Daryl as he's approaching a church before. And then we cut to Rick and Lori talking as she tells Rick she's pregnant. Unknown to them, Shane is eavesdropping. They then notice Shane is listening and Lori walks away. Rick was about to say something to Shane, but Shane walks away. Shane would go to confront Lori about the pregnancy. Shane tells her that she knows it's his. Cut back to Daryl as he enters the church and finds two walkers, which he quickly kills. The walkers he just killed was banging on a door, and he quickly opens it to find Sophia alive and well. No dead Sophia in my version. Episode 5 begins with Rick and Shane as they are on a supply mission. They are talking, they see a place that could be good and have a lot of supplies. They quickly pull over and go to search the area. They decide that they are going to split up and search the area. Rick grabs the supplies and they are about to leave. Someone points a gun at Rick. Rick walks out and it's revealed that the person holding Rick at gunpoint is Randall. Shane asked what's going on. Randall explains that was their supplies that they stole from them. Rick pleads with them that they didn't know and that they will give the stuff back. Shane sets the bag on the ground. The guys laugh and say that they can't let them go. Shane takes out his gun and shoots the guy that was surrounding him. Randall makes a run for it. Shane starts the chase after him, but Rick stops him, saying it's not worth it. But Shane pushes him out of the way. Shane chases after Randall before shooting him in the back of the head. Rick yells at Shane, asking him what he did that for. Shane punches Rick and tells him to shut up. We get the actual fight that was in the show, except the reason the walkers show up is because they are making too much noise. Daryl arrives to the group holding Sophia, and Carol falls to the floor. Carl wakes up and asks where Sophia is, but before Mom can answer, she walks in. Episode 6 begins with the escape from the walkers. Lori runs out and sees Rick's bloody face. She asks Shane what happened because he doesn't have as many cuts and bruises, and then Rick will say that they was attacked and tells her that Shane saved them, but it's obvious that Lori does not believe him. Lori takes Rick inside to get him cleaned up. And once they're inside, she will tell Rick that Shane is dangerous. Lori will reveal that Shane and her was together after they thought that Rick was dead and he thinks the baby is his. Rick says that he'll deal with it. Lori will tell Rick that Daryl found Sophia, and then we would get a scene of Rick going to see his son. Andrea will run over and say how Dale is missing. Shane will take Rick to a field, and that's where we get the scene where Shane will get stabbed by Rick. And one thing that will be changed is Daryl and Glenn will find Dale's body instead of Randall because, of course, that storyline was completely changed. Episode 7 will start off with the confrontation between Dale and Shane. And then after that, we will pretty much show the fall of the farm and like the whole herd coming in. And pretty much everything else in this episode will be roughly the same of what actually was in the final product pretty much, and a lot of characters would be separated, and for the most part it would be roughly the same of what actually was in the final show. But hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure to like and subscribe. I'll see you all in the next one.